So tell me a bit about the increase of rents only annually.
Yeah, this is great, this one. So this is another one of those that as landlords, I really, really hope people aren't worrying about, because what do we do? What happens at the moment? How do rents get increased? So we as a company, as Gascoigne Halman, we will talk to you annually and we will ask you if you want to increase your rent. And we won't just ask you that. We'll have a look at how the tenancy has been conducted. We will have a look at the market rent. That's obviously really important. We want to ensure you're receiving fair market rent, not above, not below. We want to make sure you're receiving fair market rent. And we'll give you all of our recommendations on there. Now, we do that by serving a Section 13. This is exactly the same. What this is trying to stop what people call backdoor evictions. So one of the things you may have heard about in the press is stuff called backdoor evictions. And it's where landlords have increased rent more frequently than every 12 months by astronomical amounts. So, 15, 20%, because they know that the tenant will no longer be able to afford it and it's forcing the tenant to leave. That is not the situation with any of our properties. We simply wouldn't allow that to happen. Now, the slight change is you're going to have to give 2 months' notice to your tenant. Now, tenants also can refuse to accept it. So what happens if the tenant doesn't pay your increased rent? Because I think that's something people worry about. Actually, it will be enforced by the Section 13. If it is deemed a fair rent by a third-party tribunal, if it is deemed a fair rent, that rent is absolutely due. And if it's not paid, it will start to class as arrears. That takes us back to when I was talking about the serving of a Section 8 notice. If there are arrears, that's how you would process it.
So what can you tell me about the Landlords Ombudsman and the Landlord database that's about to be introduced?
So these are two different databases, so to speak. So one is an ombudsman, and as you say, one is a landlord database. Both of these systems, every landlord will have to apply for and be part of, and they will work in conjunction with each other. So what are they? So an ombudsman, what is an ombudsman? An ombudsman is a third party that will arbitrate between you as a landlord and a tenant in the event of any issue. But at the end of the arbitration, their say goes. So we have that in the industry at the moment. It's actually called the property ombudsman, and it's an agent ombudsman. And they're a great scheme, to be honest. I only see this as a benefit. And the other side of this is that there's going to be a database. So every single landlord will have to register on the database with the properties that they own. We don't know how either of those two things are going to look yet. They're actually not developed. They certainly won't be implemented in the first tier of this legislation becoming live. Now, if you, for example, with us at Gascoigne Halman, if you're a managed client of ours, we will absolutely be including that type of thing within our managed package.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll have to watch that space with that one.
We will. The legislation is trying to create a decent homes standard in the private rental sector in the UK. And I think what you've got to look at is some of the really sad stories that we'll hear. And, you'll have heard of Awab's Law. That is in response to some absolutely dire situations that happen in the private rental sector because some of those things haven't been regulated, to do with floor to ceiling damp, to do with no ventilation, to do with absolute overcrowding. What this is about people who don't fix those issues when they occur. And that won't be us. And it certainly won't be you if you're a landlord who's got property with us. We wouldn't allow that to happen. We go out and do a property visit before we bring any property to the market. If your property doesn't meet any of the standards that we think it's needed to, we will absolutely give you that advice prior to marketing a property.
Okay, so now we've answered all of those questions and gone through that. What sort of timescales are we talking about here?
So the legislation was passed in its final form just last week. So we're now waiting for an implementation date. Hopefully that date is going to be in a matter of weeks. Now, what should happen, and what we've been told is likely to happen, is that we'll get a run-in period of 6 months. So we'll have all of that time as an industry to react, to do our new agreements, to make sure that all of our landlords are fully aware of what's going to happen. We're going to get a real good run-in period before that happens. Now, that would take us to approximately maybe April next year before things are really being implemented. I think what's key is that the agent, for us as an agent, we have been looking at this for months and months. We have really been looking at all of the fine print, all the details. We're ready. Our staff are ready. We've been training staff on it. We've been doing these videos to make sure our clients are ready, and we will look after you and we will keep you updated as and when those things come into play.
So what should landlords do if they've got any questions about the Renters' Right Act?
Well, you could go and read it. So you can absolutely go and read the Act word for word if you wish. What we'd really love you to do, if you're a current client of ours, you can talk to us, you can come into a branch. We've got 23 branches. You can email us, you can call us. We'll even happily do Zoom calls with you, to be honest, Zoom or Teams calls, because we like the face-to-face. So whether you're an existing client or whether you're a potential new client, we are more than happy to spend some time with you, do a portfolio review, look at any risks within your own portfolio, any weaknesses that we might have with the record keeping, and give you some recommendations on how to move forward with that. Thank you for tuning in, and if you do have any more questions, please do not hesitate to come into any one of our branches or to get in touch with us. Thank you.